Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about what is ADD, ADHD. It is not uncommon that the symptoms of ADD, ADHD are misunderstood. Parents often fear that their children with ADHD are trying to be difficult, often not truly understanding the challenges they face. Similarly, in adult relationships, symptoms of inattention are easily mistaken for aloofness, apathy, or uncaring. For these reasons, psychoeducation is a crucial part of treating ADHD in children and adults alike. Not only will proper education help to clear up the misconceptions of others, it can also show everyone that they aren't alone. It can help them realize that there is a very real cause for what they're dealing with. So stay tuned. Okay, so what is ADHD? ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is a disorder that affects a person's ability to pay attention and control impulsive behaviors. As the name implies, the symptoms of ADHD are organized into two categories: inattention and hyperactivity/impulsivity. The inattention has a difficulty staying focused on activities. They're forgetful of tasks such as homework or paying bills. They miss small details, make careless mistakes, avoids mentally demanding tasks, may seem to not listen when spoken to, and often loses things. Whereas hyperactivity/impulsivity, they're constantly moving or on the go, has difficulty sitting still, excessively talkative, often fidgets, taps fingers, or squirms, has difficulty with quiet tasks, and often speaks out of turn or interrupts. Take note that everyone will occasionally experience symptoms similar to those of ADHD. We all forget things, and sometimes work is just plain boring. That's normal. When a professional diagnoses ADHD, they must also consider the intensity, frequency, and consequences of symptoms. So we are next going to go into what ADHD really looks like. Okay, so what does ADHD really look like? During childhood, ADHD can be misinterpreted as intentionally bad behavior. Children with ADHD struggle to pay attention during school, and they frequently get in trouble for talking or getting out of their chairs. Oftentimes, even peers often get frustrated by their behaviors, which can lead to isolation. During adulthood, ADHD can damage careers, relationships, and self-esteem. Inattention symptoms can lead to forgotten responsibilities, poor organization, and difficulty completing tasks. Hyperactivity symptoms manifest as thrill-seeking, a high need for stimulation, and impulsive decision-making. And then there's the biological basis for it. Some people incorrectly believe that ADHD is made up to serve as an excuse for poor behavior. However, we know that ADHD has a very real biological basis. For example, people with ADHD have structural differences in their brain, most notably in the area that's responsible for impulse control. We also know that genetics play a role. A person is more likely to develop ADHD if their parents have the disorder, and some environmental factors also play a role, but to a lesser extent than heredity does. Then there's treatment. Although there's no cure for ADHD, both children and adults can learn to manage their symptoms with no medication and psychotherapy, although there is medication involvement as well. Additionally, some children will simply outgrow ADHD with time. With psychotherapy, and that's what I do, therapy for ADHD typically focuses on identifying strengths and weaknesses, skill building, and education about ways to reduce the intensity of symptoms. It can be invaluable to work with a therapist to learn personalized coping skills. And then there's medication. Although medication cannot cure ADHD, an effective treatment can help both children and adults with symptom management. The most common medications for ADHD are stimulants such as Adderall or Ritalin and stuff like that. Okay, I hope you guys really enjoyed my quick upload about ADHD, ADD, and kind of now understand the differences between the two. ADD is when you have your focus on something and you have all of your focus in that one thing, but there will be other things you need to focus on, but your attention won't go to that. And then ADHD is when you can't focus on anything, and the symptoms are the same, but the symptoms are not the same at the same time. So definitely, if you or a loved one are affected by that, pay attention to the symptoms that I've listed in this video. So I hope it was informative, I hope it was helpful, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.